achieved. Our friends at Turning Point USA are back to doing events on campuses across the country. And my next guest said that's really, really important because it's revealing what's going on at our campuses across the country. Benjamin Rothove is a student at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and editor-in-chief of the Madison Federalist. And Benjamin is on the Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line. Benjamin, welcome to WHO Radio. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Benjamin, we're talking about the importance of Turning Point USA being back on campuses, and certainly one of the things we were all shocked by after Charlie Kirk's murder was professors or employees of campuses like one at Iowa State University basically making light of the murder online. When you hear about that, Benjamin, what does that cause you to think about in regard to the culture at our campuses?
I think it makes me mad, and I think it makes a lot of students mad, not even just the conservative ones, because so many universities are just complete ideological echo chambers that make professors or student employees not realize how crazy the things they're saying are because they're constantly affirmed by everybody around them.
Benjamin, one of the things that we talked about in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's death was that there are students that really fear retaliation for stating an ideological view on a college campus. Are you, in fact, hearing about that or seeing that? Is it true?
It's always been true. Since I was a freshman here, everybody knows that whenever you have a class with a liberal professor, you always kind of lean that way. You always have to lie a little bit in your essay, change your views just a little bit. But I think that after Charlie Kirk's assassination, where you now have professors on the record saying things about how they're celebrating his death, it really makes students reevaluate if they're celebrating his death, what would they think about mine? So I think it makes conservative students, or even just like libertarians or ones who just aren't super liberal, really, really reevaluate what they can say in the classroom.
And by the way, Benjamin's got an article on nationalreview.com called Charlie Kirk's Movement Will Not Die With Him. Very powerful stuff that I'd commend to you. And I know, Benjamin, one of the things that you've been thinking about is the fact that here you have many bipartisan leaders across the country expressing dismay over Charlie Kirk's death, while higher ed was very willing to go online and celebrate it. So how removed right now is academia from real life, the outside of beyond the campus walls?
Academia kind of operates in its own world right now, where what you're able to do is if you go and get your PhD, you're only ever hearing liberal views. So then you get into a university where you're working with a bunch of other PhDs who all only have liberal views. So what you do is whenever you operate, from the age you're 18 to the time you're 65, you're only within academia. You don't really get to interact with people who have opposing viewpoints. A lot of people in academia truly just don't understand how conservatives think, truly believe the caricatures from the media because they have nothing else to go off of.
That is just amazing, Benjamin, and it really isn't real life. I mean, when I talk about liberal friends on this show, I'm not making them up. I have liberal friends, but you're saying, look, you got a college campus where you got academia that have no idea how a conservative thinks. So, Benjamin, one of the things that we're talking about this morning is Turning Point USA returning to college campuses, and there's a little pain in the pit of my stomach about that. I worry about further violence on the campuses. Did it have an impact, Benjamin? Do you fear that there is somewhat of a pulling back of free speech on campuses because of the fear of violence?
I certainly think that's the case to some degree. I think that right after it happened, there were a lot of people who reevaluated whether they wanted to be involved with college Republicans in the year, whether they wanted to write for a conservative paper, things like that. But I think that a little bit after a lot of people really turned in and started thinking, if I silence myself, then the shooter wins. So we're having a lot of new engagement from people like for college Republicans, tons and tons and tons of new people coming out saying, I wasn't going to be involved before, but after what happened to Charlie Kirk, I will be now.
And that is what Benjamin Rothove's column in National Review talks about. The title of the column is called Charlie Kirk's Movement Will Not Die With Him. Benjamin is a student at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and editor-in-chief of the Madison Federalist. Really thoughtful comments today, Benjamin. Thanks very much for joining us.